Hey, what's up everyone? Welcome back to Shadow Nexus 13. I'm your host, Threnadian. And if you've arrived here today, well, make sure that you check out the first video, which is Earth School version 0.0. You want to start with that video and work your way up through in order to get to this one. If you've already watched all the rest of the videos, welcome back. If you're new here, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and like and share away. Drop a comment, interact. Remember, don't be greedy. There's always somebody that's needing. And yeah, so we're going to pick up where we left off yesterday. And I'm going to run through, and we're basically just going to do a recap and a summary from the first video to now. More specifically, yesterday's video, which is all about, getting our mind ready for meditation and the overall awareness between the left and the right hemisphere and all that good stuff. So that being said, let's go ahead and jump into it, because yesterday we spoke on mind diversion, senses and feeling, which is all about energetic awareness. Okay, so we talked about what am I sensing, which has to do with after we get through the overthinking monkey brain and applying easy distractions, breathing techniques, having 1 to 2 things, blindfolded if necessary in order to assist, and then picking a comfort zone. Now, a lot of you might have been thinking on yesterday's video, man, it seemed like it was really crazy and chaotic and all over the place, but I assure you that I intended it to be that way. Because, now, let's do a little quick side note here, right here, for pick a comfort zone position. A lot of you might have been thinking, well, wouldn't you pick a comfort zone position before trying to do all this? The answer to that question is no. No. Because you can't get comfortable when your mind is too busy. Sure, you can try, but not everybody is so easily capable of jumping right into that. For me, in the beginning of my journey, it was not that simple. I could get comfortable, but my mind was racing. And when your mind is racing, well, it's hard to stay comfortable. So now, picking a comfort zone to start out with, it's going against the grain, man. You know what I mean? So there's that. So yeah, once we get through all this and we pick a comfort zone position, well, we have then secured our mind from being distracted from the breath work and whatever method it was we chose to focus on while doing the breath work, right? And so when we conquer the inner by mind diversion, we're able to then, this is a bridge concept of mine, we're able to come over here and observe senses and feeling, energetic awareness, right? So what am I sensing? Body sensations, body temperature, and then pressure and tension, which is all about energy movement. Okay? Now, I'm going to erase all this. And we're going to do a recap, breakdown of how and why this all works, and what I've been talking about really this whole time. Before I jump into a separate video from this one, which is going to be me teaching every one of you, whoever chooses to watch this, my viewers, newcomers, how to create an energy bubble that works like an alarm. And I'll get in more to that in the video after this one, so stick around. It'll be worth it. Okay, so all in all, what I'm teaching you here, if you followed me up to this point and you're still here, okay, so we know, okay, remember earlier on I spoke in the first video, I was talking about the bracket, right? And I said originally, before I even drew the bracket, right, that this board represents Earth, our daily environment, our playground, right? Think of it like playing a video game, right? When you play a video game, what's a game without a game? It needs the console. It needs to be plugged in. It needs to have positive, negative. It needs to be grounded in order to have the power to turn on and for all the inside mechanics to work together, right? And then it needs the game, right? So you need to have the game. And then you got to have the controller. And you need to control the person inside the game, inside the environment of the game, right? Make sense? So we talked about the left side of the brain, right? Talk about left. And left was all about what? Right? Draw this bracket in here again. Left is all about the senses, which is feeling. All right. And then, so before I go any more forward, so left side is all about the energetic awareness, right? So energetic awareness. And so with the left side, with the senses, feeling, and the energetic awareness, right? This whole side is about receiving information. And while we're receiving this information, well, we're not controlling it. So when we're feeling things out, we're in our awareness, we're receiving the information, we're not controlling it, right? So what are we talking about here? Well, we're talking about, again, senses. For one, we're talking about the senses. We're talking about the feeling. All right, make sure you guys are taking notes. And then while we're doing that, we are attuning ourselves to our frequency. So, what is this all about? Well, let's move forward. We are taking a self-inquiry. Make sense? So we're taking a self-inquiry, and on top of that, we are saying, well, one, what am I feeling? What am I feeling? And two, what is that? What exists inside of the what am I feeling? It is, well, it's the emotional, right? It's our emotional state, okay? And then, not only are we observing our emotional state, how we feel, but we are feeling out our overall, because in order to get stable within this, our inward state, right? Understanding how we feel on the inside, because the inside affects the outside, right? So, and that's mood, right? We're able to observe our mood because we're checking in with ourselves, right? In order to find that overall subtle tone. All right? And then on the other side of that, right, we are saying, oh, well, what am I sensing? What am I sensing? All right. Well, body sensations. Body sensations, temperature, not sure if I spelled that right, but it doesn't matter. All right, pressure, tension, relaxation. And then it's through that we recognize, and our awareness is now able to observe further energy, movement. Make sure you can see that good. I don't trust these devices. I have trust issues with electronics. All right, so we've got ourselves to the point of what am I feeling within my emotional state, my mood, in order to understand by self-analysis our overall subtle tone. Which brings us, right? This brings us up here to what am I sensing? For body sensations, temperature, and oh, why does temperature matter? Well, temperature matters because it's part of the overall body regulation, but temperature is also tied into Kundalini energy. It's where the masculine and feminine serpents go up the spine, right? Which is going and moving through our energy centers. And this is really important to remember this, because when we're aware of our temperature, right? If it's changed at all, well, then we know that if we're hot, cold, we're dealing with Kundalini energy. Our energy of Kundalini is indeed active, right? And this is what controls, right, the fluctuation of it for the pressure, the tension, and the relaxation. Which is why it's important to observe further energy movement. Okay? So, what's left side all about? What did I just teach you? Right? Well, I taught you that the left side is passive awareness. Which in turn is not over thinking analysis. So I've taught you so far that the left side is passive awareness and that it is not overthinking analysis. All right? Now, moving on. So, the right side, and I'm not going to draw the bracket again. I'm just going to work through this. So, the right side, right? The right side is all about what? Can you remember? The right side is all about mind diversion. So the right side is all about mind diversion, which has to do with overthinking. And monkey brain. Right? So this whole entire side, which has to be conquered first in order to even get into the left side, right? And it's basically what we're doing is this side is all about giving the mind a simple job so that it stops hijacking awareness altogether. So the bright side of the mind diversion is overthinking monkey brain, giving the mind a simple job so that it stops hijacking the awareness. All right? Well, how do we do that? How are we doing that? I want you to think about this for a minute. The reason I'm doing this whole entire recap is to drill it into you. All right? I'll give you everybody a minute. I need to get a new black marker. All right, so let's do blue this time. So, 1, keeping the mind focused. On 1 to 2 things. And why is this important? Because when we're keeping the mind focused on 1 to 2 things, it further serves the purpose of preventing the mind from spiraling thoughts. Right? So this here is the mind diversion. Think about it. Because we are 2 we're breathing. And breathing, right, is the first thing. So breathing is the first thing, right? So then, thirdly, with the mind diversion, means we have chosen a secondary distraction to focus on. Like counting. So now that we have two things going on simultaneously, at once, well then we have successfully created a solid foundation, well, foundational, I should say. We have created a solid foundational practice that's effective when applied for our mind diversion. So that we can get to the left side. Right? Go ahead and take notes with that. See, it's important to get the right side down before we can conquer the left-hand side. Right? So we're blindfolded. Blindfolded reduces the visual bleed through. It makes it easier for inward awareness, right? And once we get all this down, well, then we're able to get ourselves into a comfortable position later because we have effectively got this down in our practice. It takes time, so be patient with yourself, right? Temperance is key here. All right, so now that we've done all this, the main thing that's important to note here is that now that we've effectively got this down because we've applied it, what it does. What does it do? Well, it allows our nervous system to settle. So we've got the practice down, which now that we got our mind down, it's in control, it's distracted, we don't have the monkey brain going on. We got our foundational key factor of mind diversion down to a mastery, and which in turn allows our nervous system to settle. So this side is all about active regulation. Right? And not only is it active regulation, it's not suppression. Make sense? So, need a minute to take notes on that? Or you can always just watch again. Depends on how dedicated you are. Do you really want to do it or not? You know, things take time. All right, so now that we have all this down, we know that mind diversion is the key to what? Well, it enables our sensory awareness to be locked in the mode, right? So our mind diversion is the key that enables us to have control over our sensory awareness without forcing it, right? So we are then no longer fighting our mind. We have successfully subdued monkey brain, right? And by doing so, we are instead redirecting. We are redirecting distraction with a better distraction. Or I'll just put alternative. All right. And when we do that, we're doing it so that We're doing it so that the body and energy can speak. Right? All right, so now that we have all this down, all right, so why is my bracket conceptually important? Which takes us back to the very beginning. Why is my bracket conceptually important? Because I mentioned earlier on that this board represents Earth, environment, daily playground. So if you haven't caught on yet, right, this bracket simply represents your mind. All right? So it's your conscious, and it is also your subconscious. Your mind, conscious and subconscious. That's what the bracket is all about. And it's important because what does it do? What is it effectively doing? Well, your mind, our conscious and subconscious, controls the body. It controls the body, right? So, okay, so the right side, right? And the left side. All right. So the right side here is all about quieting the mind. While the left side receives information. All right? And together, together, they create what's most important. And what is that? What's most important here is one word. And that one word is presence. Because without presence, we have nothing. We have to be present within ourselves in order to observe our outer energetic frequency. Make sense? So once we create the presence, what is the presence exactly? All right? Well, so presence is what? What is presence? Well, it is somatic awareness and its energetic attunement which in turn is grounded intuition. And nervous system regulation. All right? And most importantly, it's making it possible to do it all without forcing meditation or silence. All right? So all right. So why does it work? And why it's smart? Because one, Who knows where I'm going with this? Y'all know where I'm going with this? What's one? Why does it work and why is it smart? Well, we know that the mind needs a task. Right? And two, we know that the body needs permission. And it can't be done. Why? Because we have to conquer the mind first. Right? And three, the kicker. The most important part. Because altogether, the trinity of them all matter. Why? Because third, and most importantly, is awareness. Just like people, needs space. Without space, we don't have planets. Without space, we don't have movement. None of that. All right? So I'm teaching you how to enter presence safely, right? Not spiritually bypassing thoughts, right? And by doing so, right? By doing so, folks, we have the practice. And within that practice, all together, right? What do we have? We know that we have set the body. We set the body because we occupy the mind. Right? And on top of it, we're able to observe without judgment. All right. So we have the practice, we set the body, we occupy the mind, we observe without judgment. So I've taught you how to enter presence safely, effectively, not spiritually bypassing thoughts. Because if you watch video 1, then I talked about the weighing the pros and cons, the do and the don't, right? And when we apply our coping mechanisms to our daily lives and our meditative practice by asserting ourselves confidently by our own free will and choice, we are able to master our practice, set the body, occupy the mind, observe without judgment. So we are assuming our position to better regulate our daily life by observing our energetic outside because of the inside. All right? And that's what I have for you today. I might do the other video. We'll see what happens, because I'm still working on 2 different books right now. So there's that. That's all I have for you for the moment. Again, don't forget to drop a comment, right? If you haven't subscribed yet, please consider doing so. And remember to like and share away. Remember, because it's important, y'all. Don't be greedy. There's always somebody else that's needing. And thank you for tuning in to Shadow Nexus 13. I'm your host, Threnadian. And until our paths cross again, in the name of the Crossroads, have a good day.